Hey there, we're live. Hi everyone, this is Dane Dormio with Martial Energetics and Tai Chi, and I'm really pleased and excited to be bringing to you another great conversation with someone that I'm really excited to be talking with today. He's a widely accomplished practitioner and teacher of Taoist healing and martial arts, as well as a personal trainer, wellness expert, and life coach. His martial arts journey began at the age of 4 and has progressed through continual instruction from a wide variety of masters and lineage holders, including shotokan karate, jujitsu, Shaolin kung fu, aikido, and ninjutsu. He's a Universal Tao System certified instructor. His expertise also encompasses yoga, mudras, and Osho meditation. His approach to teaching involves creating total life solutions that involve all aspects of physical, mental, and emotional well-being, including fitness, nutrition, and meditation. He lives in Chiang Mai, Thailand, where he's the managing director of the Tao Retreat Center, and he also serves as a trainer for the Thai police force and regularly travels and teaches around the world. Join me in welcoming Tao Masa. Great to see you, Masa. Thank you for being here.
Hi, hello everyone.
So I'll just mention that I didn't know about you until I was connected by your business partner, who's a friend of mine, and I actually asked her if she wanted to be a guest, and she said, basically, I'm not ready right now, but I think you should talk to this guy. And when I looked at what you're doing and what you've created, I just think it's really amazing that the approach that you take to the sort of whole person, whole life wellness. I mean, there are lots of experts in, maybe not a lot, but there are experts in Taoist cultivation and health and wellness practices. But the way that you combine the sort of different approaches, both Eastern and Western, into a whole life. Not just focusing on Taoist energy arts, but really focusing on the whole person. I think that's really exciting because that's the way that I approach this as well, and I really think that that's the future of where qigong is headed. Is less of a kind of an ancient, mystical, esoteric art, and more about being the best version of yourself that you can be. So I'd like to hear about a little bit about your origin story and your inspiration for doing this kind of work.
Yeah. So how you read my biography, everything started when I was 4. So I was very, very young, but I feel the need to develop myself, to do something, let's say, not really extraordinary, but something that we should be here for. I mean, many people, they ask a question like, what is the life for? Why we are here? And for sure, we are not here just to work and make money and live a normal life, but something more that people not yet really believe. And that's why by martial art and meditation, people are searching for something. And this is the reason of it. So I was very young, but I already have this question inside my head, and I think, okay. And at that time, we have an internet. So the only thing that was around at the time was karate. I said, okay, let's do this. Let's see what it's about, And then I trained karate for so many years, and but I still feeling that something missing there. So everything was body work. Everything was just focus on fighting. If you punch like this, if you kick like that, if you fall in that way and that way. And I always wonder, like, something missing here. I not yet to find what I was looking for. And then I keep changing many martial arts, and every time I went to different dojo, the approach was very similar. So everything was just involved, like, okay, you punch me, I punch you, and you kick me, I kick you. So, but nothing spiritual. So I keep searching for, and I pass through so many different dojos, so many different masters. Then I start to travel around and find many different, let's say, knowledge and different aspects of it. And until I arrived to Mantak Chia as well. So I was with him many years, studying with him, training with him, teaching with him. And in the end, I arrived to so many different knowledge that what's it coming out in the end actually is the Tao. So the Tao is the balance actually of all this knowledge. So many people, they keep focusing on something specific, but it's not only that, but it's much more than that. And that's bring me in the end to study and keep studying, because nowadays I keep searching for more knowledge. I think I will never stop anyway, because I think we don't have an ending of this. Like you said, it's true. Every people is unique, and but the way that the martial art they are setting up, they are like in a kind of way plastic. It's something like every people should move their body in the same way, but the body of the people is very different. The body moving, following an emotion. An emotion is energy. If you are angry, you go to the front. If you fear, you go to the back. But they pretend to teach the body as a robot. That's why it's a little bit unacceptable. And that's why when Bruce Lee showed up in the world and said, hey guys, there's something wrong here. We do Jeet Kune Do. What is Jeet Kune Do? Oh, you just flow the water, this kind of thing. And people was like, wow. So at the first time, people don't really accept that, like a flowing with the water, following the water. For what the guy means. But actually what he was trying to telling the people is that the flowing of the water is water flow by its own energy. And that's the way that every people should flow. So that's like you said, is every person is unique. That's why people should learn and follow many things and become unique again, develop what they are.
Absolutely. There's actually a lot about your story that I can relate to in terms of starting very young and going to many different schools, and but really what I think is kind of interesting is 4 years old. Really, like how does a 4-year-old? You said it was your decision to start doing karate when you were that age. Because I mean, I started when I was 10, and it wasn't really my idea. I was just such a huge Ninja Turtles fan. I basically wanted to be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Actually, I still do. But when I was 10, for Christmas, my parents decided to sign me up for martial arts lessons, and it was at the local Taekwondo school. And I've been on that path ever since. But how does a 4-year-old have the drive and just the awareness to actually seek out this kind of training?
Well, the story is quite funny, because even my mother nowadays is still laughing about. So that time in Italy was the big, let's say, the big fashion of study the keyboard from Japan, the Yamaha keyboard. And at the time, Mia was 4, my brother was 6, and my cousin was 8, 2 years different. And then the time every family sent the children to study the keyboard. So actually we went there to study the keyboard, but because in the news the news, they always talk about bad thing. They never tell you a good thing. If not, it's not the news. People don't want to see. So right. They was telling shooting there and killing there and everything. So I actually start to study keyboard, but one day I tell my mother, I don't want to go to keyboard anymore. And she said, why? I said, I want to go to study karate. And because that time even we start to have this movie about the martial art. So my mother asked me, why, keyboard is so nice. When you're with a friend, you can play with the keyboard. It's so nice. And I said to my mother, I was very young, but I tell to my mother, like, okay, if someone come in the night in our home and want to do something bad for us, what I do with the keyboard? I play the keyboard for him, or I smash the keyboard in his head. So my mother started laughing and said, what are you talking about? And then I said, I think I have to protect myself and the people that I love. And then my mother said, okay, very strange, but she said, okay. And that's the way they sent me to karate. And then my brother and my cousin, they follow as well. And I still have the picture, and I still have the kimono that is almost, it's really a baby kimono. I still have that one in my home in Italy. I will send you the picture anyway.
So
as we know that we die and we reborn, and wherever we reborn, it's not true the story that, okay, if you do good, you reborn rich, and when you live a bad life, you reborn poor. This kind of, it's a little bit a Buddhist tradition. The way more is that wherever you collect knowledge in one life, it's you bring it together with you, because knowledge is immaterial. It is in your spirit, actually. So you actually, by collecting knowledge, you are developing your spirit. And when you're born again, you bring this thing with you. That's why people like a 3 years old, 4 years old, they can sing, they can play piano, they can do many incredible things. We have people everywhere in the world that have amazing skill. Of course, what they learn for, they learn from the past life, for sure. There's no way that they can know before.
So you had an impulse, even at this very young age, that you needed to be a protector.
Yes, I always have this feeling that that like I should protect myself, I should protect my family, I should be able to live a life, to don't let anyone interrupt our, let's say, our energy flow, our life flow. So we have time enough in our life to do the thing that we have to do, to develop ourselves. In the end is the target is just develop ourselves. It's not go around and punch and kick people. That should be even the meaning of martial art.
The idea of accumulating knowledge through successive reincarnations is really interesting to me, because lately I've been sort of playing out this, I guess you could call it an imaginative fantasy that that I am my soul comes from this race of this, or I guess sort of a warrior class on the astral plane, and I find myself incarnated in this life, and I've forgotten everything consciously. But why do I have why do I have this, what really seems like an irrational passion for fighting all the time? I mean, I actually, and to put that in context, I'm in Nepal right now. I came here to teach martial arts to kids, and I spend about 1 to 2 hours each day doing that, and it's just it's one of my favorite things about life. It's something that I always look forward to, and I feel like I could never get tired of. And I realize, some people are just really passionate about music, and some people are really passionate about making art. They're passionate about all kinds of different things. Why am I so passionate about this? There must be some kind of transpersonal explanation,
Because that's what is really you. What you are actually, what you building up, the way that you're building up yourself in some past life, that in this life it come back to you. It don't come back as a remember, because before we start a new life, our memory, it must be erased in a kind of way. So that's why we cannot remember the past life. But it's still that something is coming through, and for me it happened even often that actually I can have a very fast remember of some kind of past life. We have many kind of, as you know, we have many kind of way to move the energy in the body, many different way to meditate. It depends on what you want to achieve. So we have some kind of practice actually they stimulate and try to little bit broken up this kind of program that erase your mind, and you can get back some memory from past life. Actually, what the people do, like by hypnotism, actually in a kind of way, they are able, to search back in your past life to let you open the door that close your mind to the remember, and then you can start to talk about your past life that normally nowadays they can search information and they can find, wow, what he said is real, this means past life is true, this mere incarnation is true. So that's what's happened to you. So nowadays when you do this thing, it's just because it's the way that you are, and that's why you never get tired of it, because you are what you do.
This is really this is really interesting. I wasn't expecting the conversation to go here, but since it is on the idea of reincarnation and past lives, what I think is really interesting about this, and especially given that you mentioned hypnosis, I first learned about the therapeutic aspect of past life regression through studying hypnotherapy. But there's also, I'm curious if you're familiar with transpersonal psychology and the work of Stan Grof.
This one, what? I don't get the name.
Stan Grof, Stanislav Grof. He's
this name, no.
The grandfather of transpersonal psychology. He developed a modality called holotropic breathwork, which, just to give a really brief context for this, he was a psychiatrist in Prague in the 1950s when a lab in Switzerland had just developed this compound known as LSD, and they sent it to certain clinical research centers for testing. They said, we just came up with this compound. We think it might have some interesting properties. Would you try it out and let us know what you discover? And so he was working at a clinic in Prague that received basically a sample of LSD to try in psychotherapy. And he tried it on himself first and had just a radically life-changing experience. And then he became one of the first and foremost researchers to experiment with using LSD in psychotherapy in a clinical setting. And he over about 10 years, he developed a cartography of the psyche that developed into the field of transpersonal psychology. And where holotropic breathwork came from was eventually he discovered it after he moved to the U.S. and it became legally prohibitive to work with LSD. He discovered that if you do everything the same, you have just you set everything up just like you would in an LSD session with the soft music and the essential oils and the low lighting, and you relax on the couch and you breathe. People would have exactly the same experience that they would have with the LSD, except there was no LSD. So that was how holotropic breathwork came about. And over decades of experience and thousands of individual experiences, what he mapped out was that we have this the biographical memory. That's one layer of the psyche, but then underneath that there's the perinatal level, which is basically what your experience of being born. And then when you get below that, there's the prenatal level, which is your experience of being in the womb. And when you get below that, there's the transpersonal level, which includes everything from past life experiences to archetypal experiences, mythical realms and entities and that sort of thing. And what I find really fascinating about this is that you don't need to believe in reincarnation or past lives to benefit from the therapeutic from the therapeutic application of past life regression. In fact, it doesn't really matter if those things are true, they really happened. When I first learned about this, I learned that it's a common phenomenon in hypnosis, in hypnotherapy, that the hypnotist will take a subject into a hypnotic state and then ask them, when did this problem first show up? And sometimes it might be an instance from childhood that comes up, maybe a repressed memory. Sometimes it will be an experience of being another person in another time. Like if somebody, say, has a phobia about knives, and they go in hypnosis, and hypnotist asks them, when do you first experience this? And they have an experience of being a merchant in Venice in the 1600s, and they were robbed on the highway and stabbed to death. And then after they have had that experience, that memory, they no longer have that problem. They no longer have that phobia or whatever it was. And in other words, they're cured just by having that experience. And it really doesn't matter if they even believe. They don't have to be Buddhist, doesn't matter if it's true or not, but the healing effects actually happen.
Yes. This is exactly one thing that when we talk about Qigong, for example, and we talk about energy, this is something that I keep talking and explaining to people, that is not about religion. Religion is a system that people can believe it or not. But when we talk about Qigong and energy field, emotional field, and all this thing, it's nothing about religion. It's there. The energy is there. The science proves the energy is there. Qigong is just a way to make you understand in which way you can move this energy for your benefit and the benefit actually of all. And this doesn't matter in the end of the day if you go to the church or if you bow to the floor as a Muslim or which kind of dress you wear. That doesn't matter, that one. The Qi is energy and is real and is something that if people, they just relax and give a try, everyone will feel it. So there's nothing, even in that one, is nothing to believe. It's just there.
Yeah, that's so funny because I actually just did a web show on this about a day or two ago where we were talking about, do you have to believe, can you practice Tai Chi or Qigong if you don't believe in energy? Do you have to believe in energy? And really, no, it's not an intellectual thing. It's not something you believe or you don't. It's an experiential process. It's something that you discover within yourself.
People often ask me questions like for example, about Tai Chi. For example, they ask me like, oh, what I should wear, and can I put which music will be nice to use it, or something like this. So I always try to explain to people that wherever you go in a Tai Chi, Qigong, Iron Shirt, wherever is the practice that you decide to do, is an experience. It doesn't matter what you wear. And even it doesn't matter even the music that you play, because in the end of the day, wherever you are doing Tai Chi, wherever you are moving your body, your mind, it should be in your mind, in your body. So wherever you move a wrist, your mind is in the wrist. And if your mind is really in the wrist, it doesn't matter. I can play every kind of music. You will even not notice. In the moment that you are doing Tai Chi, I arrive and I change the music. And in the end, you will say, oh, do you change the music? I didn't notice. Yes, for sure. Because if you are really in what you are doing, you will not care about it. You will not maybe even notice. So, because one time I had someone take a picture of me. I was doing Tai Chi, and I have the sunglasses on it. So some people, they write under my picture like, "Oh, this oh, you can do Tai Chi with sunglasses." Oh well, the sun was very strong. So what's wrong to wear sunglasses? You know. So that's very funny. It's very funny. So the experience, every time you practice something, is an experience. Even me nowadays, wherever I practice Tai Chi, I practice for so many years already, but when I still practice, every time is a new experience, is a new feeling, is a new, what I can say, it's something new, it's a new, every time is new. It's never been the same. It's never been the same. And it doesn't matter if I wear Chinese, they say Tai Chi is from China, you should wear a Tai Chi dress. No, I can do in a swimming suit on the beach. It doesn't matter what I wear. We talk about energy. We talk about immaterial thing. We talk about mind control. We don't talk about what we wear.
I think that's a really great point for, especially for people who are just starting out, or for somebody who feels like they've kind of plateaued in their practice. That point that if you're doing it right, it doesn't feel like a routine or a chore. It's new every time. Even if you are doing a form, I don't really teach forms. I teach simple qigong patterns and free form movement. But if you do practice forms, or however you practice, if you're doing it right, it's a completely new experience each time. And so if you find yourself feeling like it's a chore or like it's repetitive, then I think that's a good reminder to tap into that sense of novelty and realize that actually each moment is completely unique in all of time. So if you can notice what is unique about each moment, about each action you're taking, about each breath you take, then that really gets you into the state for practicing.
Exactly. Every time, actually, the routine is what we try to avoid in a Taoist way, because think about when you drive the car. When you learn to drive the car, you are really careful, to look at the mirror, to make sure that everything is right. But when you already know how to drive, and it's become so routine, you can drive for an hour, and your mind is completely another place. You arrive, and then it's something like magical. You wake up and you said, "Oh, I arrived already? Wow, I didn't feel it." Yeah, because our mind was busy for something else. That's what exactly is that the routine. We should be very careful when we practice routine, because we have to make sure that we are able enough to keep our mind in the routine with the body, and not just do some movement and the mind is thinking about what is the next practice to do. That's why even for me nowadays, let's say that the routine, I keep a very few routine, really the best that I ever find. But in my life, I learn 100, many different martial arts, karate, all this kata, Ian Shodan, Ian Idan, Ian Samdang, all this kind of kata, so many things. But in the end of the day, I was noticed that people, they do like a robot. There's no mind in. That's why nowadays, I just a few routine, the best that I ever find, and always with the mind in. That's the way they should be practice any kind of routine.
Right, keeping the mind present in the body. Since we touched on the idea of religion in the sense of organized religion and sort of belief systems, I'd like to talk a little bit about the philosophy of Taoism. I don't consider Taoism to be a religion. I consider it to be a spiritual philosophy. but it certainly underlies all of these practices. I mean, if somebody asks me what my religion is, or somebody says, "Are you a Christian, or do you believe in God, or whatever?" I just say, "I'm a Taoist," as if that answers the question, which it really doesn't. But it's usually the kind of shortest and simplest way to respond. But what does the philosophy of Taoism, what does it have to do with these things like health and wellness and longevity, with performance enhancement, with martial arts, all of these things that internal arts feed into?
Yeah, let's start with this one. That Taoist is not a religion, but is a way is an understanding of life. Is the way how people should live a life. Even people keep asking me the same, like, "Oh, do you have a religion?" I always said, "No, I don't have it." And they ask me, "Why you don't have it?" I just ask, "Because I don't need it." They said, "Why you don't need it?" I said, because the religion, I don't need the religion that tell me that this is bad and this is good. Actually, we know in our heart already what is good and what is bad from when we was born. Go around on stealing or shooting or killing. We know in ourselves that is not the right thing to do. So that's why if people they just relax and focus on their heart, on their feeling, on their love. Nobody need anyway a religion or something to believe. Anyway, the Taoist, let's say, philosophy, as we know, the logo yin yang, very famous. Everyone know this logo. So yin yang is the representation of the double aspect. So the feminine, the masculine, the soft and strong, and relaxation and power, and blah blah blah, light and dark, and blah blah blah. So in this kind of logo of yin yang is the perfect union of these two aspects. And when this yin yang they combine together, this logo that everyone called yin yang, but actually is the union of yin yang, the logo is called Tai Chi. Because many people, they will be surprised, what is Tai Chi? So Tai Chi is this logo is Tai Chi. Now, when these two elements, they combine each other and they become Tai Chi, they start to rotate. And by the rotation, and they create a vortex and the perfect union of these two energies. That's what exactly come out, and is the Tao. The Tao is the perfect, let's say the perfection, the perfect balance between these two sides that in the life we need to have it. We need to be soft. We need to be strong. We need the light as we need the dark, because in many religions they said, "Oh, we don't need the dark, no, we need the dark as well, because without dark the light has no meaning." Even because if we don't have one side as well, we don't have the other side. If in the world all the people will be good, I mean, we will don't have the bad people. It never can be. It never can be possible that we have only one side. If we don't have the bad people, we don't have the good people. So you need the one side to combine to the other side. So the Tao is the perfection and the harmony of the two sides. Now, this one, when we talk about the perfection and the harmony, of course, we talk about health, we talk about nutrition, we talk about every aspect actually of life, even martial art, because some people, they have this kind of misunderstanding that martial art is something strong, is something only for people they looking for fighting, but actually it's not, because the real martial artists, they never fight in their own life. They never have any fight. The real martial artists maybe punch a kick a tree to training the body and the spirit, and they have nothing to do in martial art. They go around and punch and kick people for pleasure or for fight. So as well, people in martial artists, by training their body to become stronger, they are looking not for be stronger than another person. They looking for be stronger of what for themselves, stronger than what they was the day before. And this is a kind of way to develop the body. And if you develop the body as well, you develop your spirit, because they are combined together. That's the way that, for example, other people, they feel more inside, they feel more soft, and they like to practice, for example, yoga or meditation only. So what they do is by training their mind, their energy, actually they are training their body as well, because they are combined. And even when we talk about nutrition, for example, nutrition is another aspect of life, very important. Let's say Taoism, we talk about the harmony and balance. This means that you can eat everything, but moderate. Tao does not impose any kind of restriction. Like some people, they don't eat the beef. Some people, they don't eat the pork. Some people, they don't eat, they are vegetarian. Some people vegetarian with eggs. Some people vegetarian without eggs. So we have so many different aspects of nutrition, but actually the Taoist said, no, you can eat everything. You just moderate. And for example, a glass of wine. Can you have a glass of wine? Can you have a nice cocktail? Of course, in the Tao said, yes, you can, but you can in moderation as well. Why? This is very simple. When you have a glass of wine with a friend, let's say it's alcohol. Let's say alcohol going to the blood, going to the liver, and blah, blah, blah. So it's not good for your body. Actually, it's not really true, because the other thing is wherever the food going to your body, it's been transformed by your body. So wherever you have a nice dinner with a friend, and you have maybe a glass of wine with a friend or a cocktail with a friend, it makes you happy. Your happiness, it's energy. And when you feel good, it will transform wherever going to your body to be good for yourself. I know so many people, they eat everything organic, everything very clean, everything so perfect, very expensive food, but they keep be sick. They are sick all the time, and they ask me why I follow very strict, very good nutrition side and everything, but because I ask them, are you happy? No, they are not happy, because the stress that being generated to go in a shopping mall and start to read every card of every product, like all the detail and everything, it makes the people so stressful that the stress is a negative energy, so transform even the best food to be negative for yourself. That's why nutrition is another important aspect. Eat properly, eat nice, and make yourself happy.
Yeah, I'm really glad you're mentioning that, because I've experienced this. I've noticed this in my own experience that while definitely I guess the principle of moderation definitely applies, because I've noticed that if I eat nothing but junk food for an extended period of time, then I'll definitely feel that. I'll feel the effects of that, and so I know it's not totally irrelevant what I'm putting into my body. But I've also noticed that it's not just about what I'm eating, but that there does seem to be this effect that your body is able to some extent to take whatever you give it and turn that into what you need. So if I have a moderate amount of junk food, it won't like something I notice is if I eat a lot of carbs or sugar, I'll get really sleepy and I'll lose all my energy. I'll get really lethargic. largely depending on the state that I'm in when I'm eating. And if I'm in a higher energy state when I'm eating that, I really feel like my body's able to transform it, and it doesn't have such a depressing effect on my energy system.
Exactly. People, when I've been to China to teach Chinese people many times, and sometimes they ask me like, "Hey, I'm 44, and I look very young. I'm fit. My face, everything, my skin, everything." So sometimes people ask me like, "But do you have a special recipe, or do you eat something special? What about your food?" And I said to them like, "Oh, maybe you will not believe, but sometimes I eat some junk food, especially when you go in a country that you don't know much about their food, and then maybe you jump in a McDonald's, and people are completely shocked. Like, you eat junk food, you are Taoist master. How you can do that?" And I tell them, listen. For example, when a family on Sunday, they wake up in the morning, they prepare their children, they bring to McDonald's, the father and the mother, they have some food, and the baby play around, they eat some French fry, they get some toys, everyone happy, and they go back home. Well, the question is, do that food will damage them, their body? Not at all, because our body is a filter. All our internal organs, they are a filter. And all these filters, they work by energy. And as long that you are happy, they work very good for you. So what is good in that food, they will take it. What is bad in their food, your body will manage to throw away. But more than everything is, do you pass a nice day? Yes. All your family is happy? Yes. Everything will be all right for you. Yes, you cannot do this on every day, of course, because we talk again about moderation. But it's very important that people understand that your energy, level of energy, is controlled by many things, about the training as well, about the food as well. But the most and everything they are your emotion. So as long as you keep yourself happy, that's okay. That's nothing bad for that. That's much better.
Yeah, happiness.
Yes.
Happiness,
yes,
at least true happiness is a sign of optimal functioning.
Exactly. When you, as long that you are happy, when you eat, when you're training, whatever you do, that's mean your energy is run well. Even when we talk about a job, for example, it's very negative to do a job just because you need that money. Because the money you can find in every way, but of course the people should find a way to do something that they like. Wherever they wake up in the morning, they should wake up in the morning and do the thing that they like, more than wake up in the morning and keep complaining themselves, blaming the life, that they are going again to the same place and do something that they really don't like. This is one of the things why make the society sick and people sick. Like, for example, the cancer. How many people have cancer nowadays? It's okay. Here we talk about dirty food, dirty air, dirty water, but especially dirty mind, dirty energy. Oh, by the way, sorry for the music. I'm in a coffee shop. We have some
noticed
background.
that. I thought you were in a coffee shop, but actually we're pretty much just picking up your voice. So this sounds not bad.
Okay, so thank you.
There's the chemical component, the sort of chemical, physical, physiological component, but often what gets ignored is the energetic component of health, of nutrition, of and what you're talking about, like the work, your livelihood. Something I've even noticed is in terms of food and energy. I've had this experience, and I'm sure a lot of people watching or listening can relate to it as well. That have you ever been so engrossed and engaged in what you're doing on a particular day that you forget to eat? Doesn't even occur to you that you need to. That's what I think of as the spiritual energy. The energy, base energy, comes in from food and air and gets transformed through stages inside the body. And it's not that we don't need energy from food and air, but it's that's not really the energy we run on. That's the energy that we sort of transform into life energy. And if you are abundant in that kind of energy, in life energy, then you don't need a constant influx of food energy to keep you going.
Exactly. Food is one of the energy source of us. We have so many people in the world, for example, that they just Breitarianism or something. These people they don't eat at all, or maybe they drink just water without any food. I mean, they live a life the same. Let's say it's quite tough even to arrive at that stage, and it's just a question of choosing. I mean, if you want to follow that kind of way of life, but still that we have this kind of source of energy, and like you said, actually we are a machine that we transform energy. Even we are a machine that we produce energy, because as you can notice, the day that you're training and after that, the first you feel a little bit tired because you're training, but after that you feel that you have double eyes of your energy. You feel much more fresh and much better after your training. If one day you don't training, you feel much tired. You feel your energy is very low. Why? Because you don't produce energy. We are like a turbine, so we need to produce energy in order to have energy. Normally people nowadays, because the technology, normally people, they are lazy to move themselves. So now you can push the button in the telephone and the food arrive next door. You can buy everything you need just on the phone. And so people in the society become more lazy and more lazy and more lazy and more lazy. And this is not good at all. And so only the people that really have a discipline, they really know what I mean when I talk about that you're training and you feel much fresher after the training. You feel much more energy, because we have to produce that energy that we want. This is even another aspect of the martial artist. It's like another thing. Many people they don't know that the word kung fu, it doesn't mean fighting, but the word kung fu is just a constant practice. It's something that you keep doing and keep doing and keep doing. Even if you work in a coffee shop and you make a coffee every day, this is kung fu. It's something that you keep doing, and then when you keep doing so long, you become a coffee master. Why? Because you do so long that is part of your life, is part of your routine, is part of your energy.
Yeah, something that I've noticed in my practice, and I think this is a sign that you have a good practice, is that when I would, if I was feeling lethargic or tired or exhausted or sick, if I felt like I was coming down with something, and I would feel like, well, I don't really feel like training because I just don't have the energy, or I'm not feeling well. But I'd go and train anyway. By the time the training session was over, I'd completely forgotten about what I felt like. I felt great. I felt 10 times better than I did to begin with. And so how there's our emotions drive our actions, and this has to do with with emotional eating. A lot of people eat in response to emotional triggers rather than the actual need for food. And when you are being driven by your emotions in that way, your emotions or your state will say, "Oh, I'm too tired to exercise, but I need a Big Mac or whatever." And the the idea of your emotional state really being one of the primary determining factors for the experience that you have of what you eat, of the food you eat, of your exercise, or your livelihood or the work you're doing. If you are in a certain kind of emotional state, the work will be very fulfilling and satisfying. If you're in a different kind of emotional state, the work will lead you to burnout and depression.
Yeah, I want to say something about the story that you said, that when you feel tired and you feel like you don't want to training, and after that, if you can pull yourself to the training, after that you feel better. So even about the sickness and every kind of emotional, let's say, the problem, we always have two ways to go. We have the yin side and the yang side. Normally, let's take an example, the fever. When people have fever, we know that our mother said, okay, stay in the bed, drink something warm, and like a soup, light food, and just stay there until the fever is gone. This is the yin side. The yin, let's say the yin approach is like calm, relax, and just wait that the fever and the sickness, it go by itself. Now, fever, what is that your body, the temperature of your body is rising up. So they keep you, your mother in this case, keep you in the warm bed and give you warm food when your body is already warm, right? So what we do is, this is the yin side, but if you want to have to the yang side, we have the opposite approach. This means stand from your bed, take a cold shower, go out and eat an ice cream. People said, oh, that's crazy. No, the yang side is always faster, but it's strong. It's difficult to do because you have to be strong to face to the other side. Faster, but more difficult. The yin side is take a much long time, but it's easier. So that's we have these two different aspects of the reality. That's why when people normally are lazy, the yang side is, no, I need to stand and just do my training. But the yin side, it's on relaxation and said, it's okay, I can do even tomorrow. This is what in many religions they said, oh, you have two things here, one is the devil and one is the angel. So the one he tell you to do the thing, and the other one said to you to don't do it. Actually, is no devil, no angel. This we talk about the yin and yang aspect. They are in ourselves, and what we choose is always opposite of what we wanna be. People want to be slim, and so they need to, for example, to diet, but they always choose the yin side, the easiest one. It's like, okay, I can start tomorrow, or maybe Monday is better, or maybe the first one next month is better, or maybe even next year. This is the yin side, but the yang side is, okay, from now I don't touch food. Maybe I just change my food style, and I don't eat cake anymore, this kind of thing, because you really want to achieve a result, a target. The yang side, the strong side, is the one that pushes you to go in the way that you want to be. But it's always easy to listen the other side, because it's easier, because the humanity is going to become lazier. So that's why it's always easy, the yin side. Personally, when I teach, for example, Tai Chi, the way that I teach is always strong, and my approach is always strong. Many people, they know me like the young master, because when I do the thing, I do it quite strong. But it's just because I know that as a master, I need to stimulate people. Like, why the people looking for a personal trainer? People need a personal trainer. Actually, they can do 10 push-ups by themselves, but having someone near you, they keep telling you, give me another one, come on, you can do it. Okay, and then they can do it. But actually, by yourself, can you do that? Yes, you can do that. That's what is the master rule. That was the personal trainer rule. If not, people will just sit and relax, enjoy the show. But that's the yin side. So the yang side is back to your thing is just, yes, even when you feel tired, you should drag yourself, stand and do your practice, and you will feel automatically better.
Especially when you are training with other people, because you benefit from the group energy and the energy exchange. I've found that to be a really big factor, just getting around other people, and I would completely forget about whatever I was feeling ahead of time and just get completely engrossed in that activity. I want to do a time check because we're getting pretty close to an hour. I should have checked you to begin with. How's your schedule? How much time do you have?
No, for me, I'm okay.
Okay. There's a lot more stuff I'm curious about, but one thing I definitely want to know is, because we're less than a week away from World Tai Chi and Qigong Day. It's coming up this Saturday, this coming weekend. I'm helping to organize an event in San Diego for that, and I'm also involved with an event here in Nepal. World Tai Chi Day is something that I get really excited about and look forward to every year. So I'm curious if you're doing anything special for World Tai Chi Day.
Well, as you know, she just arrived here, and a few days ago, she still be a little bit, with the time zone. And so she take a little bit herself on relaxation and take herself back. We was planning to do something, but I guess we plan over late. I mean, I think we are not in time. And anyway, very soon, in the end of the month, I guess I have to go to China as well. So I think we are not in time. I really would like to do it because I like to share knowledge to people, because you have so many people in the world that they don't have any access to any kind of a real master. I mean, someone that really have knowledge on something, and I would like to share my knowledge. I'm not sure that we will be able to do something, but I would like to.
Yeah,
anyway.
That's the great thing about World Tai Chi Day, is that it's an opportunity for people who don't normally get exposed to these things to have a chance to at least get exposed. And it could be easy to say, oh, people hear about it and they don't. Raising awareness is great, but action is what makes the difference. But awareness is the basis of action. People can't even seek these things out if they don't even know that they exist. So just the fact that the awareness is being raised so much, and it's happens every year, and every year it just keeps getting better and better. So there's always that to look forward to. This is something that I'm curious about from a couple of perspectives, actually, which is, do you plan to live forever?
Well, let
me put some context to it. Let me put some context to it first as well. There's actually two ways that I think about this. There's the sort of the ancient approach of the stories of Taoist immortals who got so good at cultivating their chi that they just lost all interest in interacting with other humans and civilization and went off into the mountains to live in a cave, and they're still there to this day. But there's also the futuristic perspective in the idea of longevity escape velocity, that technology through various ways has been increasing the expected human lifespan for several centuries, and that's a process that's not only continuing but accelerating. And at some point, the rate of increase of the rate of technological increase of the average human lifespan will exceed a slope of 1 year per year, and then we'll all be able to live indefinitely through the miracle of technology. So I see that as a place where kind of the ancient and the modern are sort of converging. So that's where I'm coming from in asking that.
Yeah. That's let's say is a big issue, because that I think will go, if we talk about this one, we go to open up many different kind of conversation and different aspect of the reality. Qigong is Qigong, and energy field is one of the things that people can do and practice to develop themselves. Let's say that our body, in a kind of way, is not really made up to live forever. As we see, like people when arrive 70, 80, 100 years old, the body start to, in a kind of way, collapse, in a kind of way destroy. So the only thing that can live for us is energy. And that's why now they are creating the story about the artificial intelligence. Maybe they can transport intelligence from one person to a machine, so the people can still live in the machine, but the body have to, in a kind of way, expire. By training Qigong and everything, what we do, we try to point on longevity, not immortality. The way that they talk about immortality of the 8 immortal, that blah blah blah. Okay, let's say that they are in a kind of way a story, but I cannot open much this this thing. Because it's much more deeper than what it can be. Let's say that immortality, in a kind of way, a very, very long longevity can be. But we go really over the Qigong and the practical Tai Chi and we go into something much more deep than that one, about body and spirit.
So you're saying that those
forever, but yes.
you don't plan to live forever, but
maybe not in the way that people can understand. If we talk about, okay, do you want to live forever? Everyone will say, oh, for sure, yes. Well, if you see a people that 100 years old, and during the life, maybe you get an accident, maybe you lost one eye, you lost one leg. I mean, during a time and space in your life, you keep broken your body. Because you get an accident and you lost one hand and you lost one eye and you cannot walk anymore. So in the end of the day, your body, it's suppose that you can live 200 years. How are you gonna be and look like after 200 years? How many pieces you gonna lose it and broken and deformed and everything 200 years? Internal organ, like nowadays they can transplant internal organ. This is just one way to make your life a little bit longer, but never can be forever.
So you're saying that those stories about the Taoist immortals are not necessarily intended to be interpreted literally?
Well, in the history, let's say what the people can prove. Actually, we have many people that was living 100 years, many 100 years, not just 100 years. We know that is possible, but we know that even that the environment nowadays is not the same that it was many 100 years ago. Like the air was much cleaner, the food was cleaner. Nowadays, the human being, they are much more intelligent and developed, and we have a lot of much more comfort, but we have to face that we have much more sickness and much more psychological problem than the past. And like we said about before, the psychological problem, emotional problem, they are the one that nowadays actually kill the humanity much faster than it was before. The people before, they was living, like even in the Bible or in many books, we have people that was living 200 years, 300 years. Yes, because the life of them was very slow life. I mean, time and space, let's say in a kind of way, doesn't exist like the people believe. So their time, let's say that your life is this side, but the way they was living, this space and time was much longer. So one day of your life today for them was like 1 week. But nowadays,
Right.
everything is running. Your brain is running from the morning until evening like a crazy. And we use the phone and everything. And everything is so running that it's crazy. And that's why our life becomes shorter and shorter. Yes, the medicine, let's say in a kind of way, they try to helping you, but as we know, even there, yin yang, in one side, if you have lungs problem, they give you pills for cure the lungs, but they damage the liver. And then you go back to the doctor, they said, oh, now you have a liver problem, they give you injection. And the injection, they go damage the kidney. And after they go in the blood, so you keep taking medicine to fix what it was okay before, that now is broken because the medicine. So he's keeping going. Yes, the medicine, it's in a kind of way great and helpful for something, but for something not. So for some reason they help you, but our life is not really longer because them. Many 100 years people can live much more longer life, and they don't have too much medicine like now because they didn't need it.
So how does Qigong transform the individual? What changes does someone undergo when they practice diligently for a long time?
When the people practice Qigong, let's say, is the way to learn yourself and in the way to start to love yourself. Because the way that you practice Qigong, and we talk about energy, we talk about health, healing process and everything. So you start to actually love yourself more than before. And when you start to love yourself, then you start even love other. Because love is the key for yourself and to other. That's why we have this world peace days and Tai Chi days and everything. And who do this thing? Is the people that practice Qigong and Tai Chi. Why they do this one? Because they feel in love with themselves, in love with the other, in love with the nature, in love with the world. That's why you give your time to people that you never know what is backside the camera. I mean, me and you, we are here now and talk about things, but we are doing actually not for me and you, but we are doing for other. And maybe they get inspired by our love of what we do, and they can do the same. Is for their benefit, for our benefit, and for the benefit of all.
That's a really unique answer, and also I think a really powerful one. You had normally I think hear something in response to that, like it has to do with improving immune system, improving your energy level. But I think it's just really powerful that you're saying that the central thing is loving, and I would also say appreciating yourself, self love and self appreciation, because whatever body you have, the best thing about it is that it's yours. I actually had a big hit about this just recently, that the best thing about your life is that it's yours. That's all the reason and excuse you need to love it, to love the life that you have, to love the body that you have, to love yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Let's say that without talking about religion and reincarnation, let's say that we have a unique life, a unique chance to be here now. That's why we talk about meditation. We talk about now. And now is the moment that we have to take an action for who? Not for other, for ourselves first. And if we start to love ourselves, then we can love other. We cannot share to other what we don't have. So as long that we, of course, when we train Qigong, of course, our health is better, our body is stronger, our mind is more focused. Yes, that's, let's say, is the yang side, is the physical side, the what we get, the positive thing that we get from the yang side. But about the yin side, we talk about emotional. We feel much in peace, we feel more relaxed, we feel more happy, and everything together, it generates only one word, and is love. That's what in the end the Taoism is about. It is be in harmony and love with all. So we have to be in love with ourselves first, in peace with ourselves first, and then we cultivate this feeling and then share with others.
So tell me about the work that you're doing. You're directing the retreat center there in Thailand, and you're also traveling and teaching workshops and seminars. Do you have, in addition to teaching in person, do you have books out or books that you're working on, or do you also teach online in some way?
Books, for example, not. I'm not a writer, and I never plan to write book. They are, let's say, the book around the world, they have maybe, I don't know how many thousand, even million about. And I used to read even a lot of book about it, even when I was young. And my experience is the book, it can only remind you something that you learn actually with a person. People want to learn from a book. It's very, 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 very difficult, because book is a book. The same thing, if a master tell you to do, if you have a real contact as a person with a master, someone, the moment that the master explains to you the thing, he show you, okay, touch my body, I touch your body, this kind of real interaction, it's the only way to really understand and feel what is about Qigong, what is about Tai Chi, or even martial art. It's not possible. I never believed it is possible to learn from book or DVD or something. It must be personalized, even because, like we said before, it's not possible. People are not plastic, so it's not possible give to everyone the same thing. I was thinking even to create some course online, but I never make it done, but because I'm always very busy for many things. But I will like actually to open up a course online, but like we are doing now. I mean, real on video, and not just maybe just record video, do this, do this, do this, because we are not far from a book, and everyone have a different body, a different way to move, maybe different problems. So when you see them face to face, people can tell you what they feel, and then you can teach them based on what their needs or what they feel or what's their problem in their body or emotionally. So I would like to do something specific, person by person.
Like personalized coaching.
Exactly.
So you're following the ancient and time-honored tradition of direct transmission of kinesthetic experiential knowledge, which is the way these things have always been passed on.
Yes, because even I know by myself as well that when I was young, and for example, I was doing karate for many years, and then I did judo and jujitsu and so many things. At the same time, I keep buying book because the time we don't have internet. So I keep buying many books, tons of books, and I keep reading. The time I was reading about the chi, and in Japan they call ki, and okay, you have to do this, you have to feel that. I mean, I try a lot, but I never actually understand until I meet the first master that actually he was a Japanese. That's why he was Masa actually, and he teach me many things about qigong. And then when I start to really feel something, then I remember the book and I said, oh, now I understand what the book was talking about. Yeah, but when I was really with someone, when he touched me and when he said, do you feel this? Do you feel that? Move like this, feel like that. That's the way to really transmit a knowledge, because this is not a knowledge like there can be every kind of different book. This we talk about feeling. Energy is something that you must to feel. And when you feel in your body, then you can consider that you understand. Only when you feel it. We don't have to understand in the brain mechanically, but we have to really feel in our body the energy flow. When you feel it, it's yours.
Yes, I can definitely relate to what you're saying in the sense that there's learning from recorded materials, whether it's books or videos or some kind of online format, is, I really think of it as secondary. Although that's maybe something else we can talk about, what the future of Qigong is. But I see that that transformation happening, that a lot more teaching is moving online into some kind of distance format, and I think there's value to that. I do think there's value to that, and I think it's the wave of the future. But it's secondary to the in-person experience, and the value of it mainly is as you said, for reminding you of what you already know, or if you learn from a teacher. Actually, the way I think of it is, if you learn from a teacher, you learn the kinesthetic experiential knowledge first. That is what equips you to be able to learn from books and other recorded materials. But if you don't have that direct experience, then it's very limited what you can even get out of them. And also, I think there's the value of inspiring people to seek out in-person instruction. One of the first martial arts books I read as a kid was it was a martial arts encyclopedia that I read cover to cover, and it had entries on pretty much every kind of martial art in existence. So I read about capoeira, and that was really exciting. And I was probably 8 or 9 at the time. I didn't actually end up studying capoeira until I was in college. I was 19 or so, but I knew about it and I was interested in it that whole time because I'd read about it in a book. And people have come to Tai Chi that way as well. They read a book that resonates with them, and then that inspires the quest to seek out a teacher. So I really think that it's limited in what you can get from books and from videos and recorded forms of teaching. But it also does have value as well, and is a valuable thing to be putting out into the world. And there's certainly more and more of it being put out all the time.
Yes, it's. I mean, it's something. The best, of course, is meeting personally someone.
Encounter somebody who became a master only learning from books. Like that just wouldn't exist.
Oh, well, for example, nowadays in internet, they keep selling like, the 12 DVD and you must become master of karate or something, And the people, what they do, they sit on the sofa and they watch a DVD. Actually, you should stand and training, but they just sit on the sofa and they watch all the series of DVD and they stand from the sofa. They are a karate master. So this thing, we have a lot nowadays as well. So that's why with the real master, you must stand and do the training. You cannot sit on the sofa. Still that for sure they have some value because, of course, many people in the world, they have no access to a real person. I have many thousand people from Facebook. They message me every day from everywhere in the world, from some kind of nation that even I never know that exists. Some place that even I never know that exists. They message me and they said, please send me some video, send me something. I will love to learn something. I have nothing around here. And actually, when you go to see really where they are, they live in a kind of area in the world that really, I mean, they have really no way, like a very, very poor country as well. So even they don't have any kind of an economical way to fly, go another country, learn, come back home and do their thing. So I believe that this one can be the only one way for them to learn something. That's even the reason why I will like to do the Tai Chi days, to arrive to them as well. So teach to them as well. I mean, transfer some knowledge, what is possible to them, and so they can still do their practice. At least they can do something. Something is better than nothing anyway.
Yeah, something is better than nothing. That is how I feel about it. And you're just not going to get the same benefit from anything that is recorded as you can from a direct connection with a teacher. There's what I'm also curious about is what do you see? Actually, I guess two things. What do you see as being the future of Qigong? How do you see Qigong evolving in the future? And what is the role of tradition and lineage in the modern world? Because there's these teachings come through ancient traditions that a lot of it, I think, just has to do with Chinese cultural history and the emphasis on respect for elders and respect for tradition. But what do you see as the role of tradition and lineage in the modern world, and how do you see Qigong evolving going into the future?
Yeah, that's a nice question. It's a little bit controversial nowadays because, for example, I mean, I am the controversial one. I'm Italian, and I was the one. I've been to China to teach Taoism and Qigong to Chinese people. So Chinese people, they love it. So many people ask me like, how can it be possible? You are Italian and you go teach to them their own knowledge. The thing is really this one. Lineage is something, it's important that you learn from someone that as well, you learn from another one. That's what we call lineage. it's okay. But in the end of from who you learn, I will say how much you really practice and how much you really mastering your own practice. When you mastering your own practice, you become a master. Mean you really know what you do, and you really absorb your knowledge deep enough that you can pass to someone else. So the future of Qigong, the future of Tai Chi and everything, it will be like this. It will be that it doesn't matter which people come from, and they will be able to bring this knowledge to someone else. I mean, Italian people, they, let's say the pizza is from Italy, but I will not be surprised if a Chinese people can make a pizza better than an Italian one, because it depends how long he keep doing that. maybe in Nepal you can find a better pizza, because it depends how much they deep in their cells they mastering the way to make it. And that's why the future of Qigong is this one. How much really people they mastering the practice, they mastering the chi flowing energy, all the theory, all the practice that can be Taoism or can be any kind of different field. There will be the people that they will be able to pass through the knowledge to other one. So the lineage, I think, in the future is something that will be a bit ancient thing. It's something that I think people will not care about it anymore, because it will be a very, very mix. Like nowadays, all the people in the world, we are actually mixed. Nobody's a pure Italian, nobody's pure Chinese, nobody's pure anything. It's all mixed up. This is the same thing.
Yeah.
This is the same thing.
Yeah, it'll become less of a Chinese thing or an Oriental thing, and more a heritage of all humanity. That's something that's accessible really to anyone, by through direct experience.
Even because, for example, I meet so many different masters, and so many masters, they have this kind of idea that their knowledge is the only one. So wherever you go, you training with another one, they said, no, this is the one, and the other, no, you don't have to do nothing about it. So in the Tao, in reality, we said no one is right, no one is wrong. And in the Qigong, we should be even open-minded. So we should be able to learn from everyone. And then it's in ourselves, choose and said, okay, this is great, I keep doing, and this is not really good. I don't do anymore. I will not pass. I have some. My knowledge, it's very, very, it's a lot, and many things, I just don't teach anymore. I don't practice anymore by myself. I don't teach anymore just because I don't find any what I can say. That is a waste of time. It's a literally waste of time to pass on to people a form of practice that I don't feel much with this. So I just cut it out, and I give to people the best can I ever find from different master, from different even aspect. So Mantak Chia is one of them, and I have many different masters from Japan, from China, from Singapore, from France. I mean, from different ways. So it's all mixed up nowadays. Nothing is pure, and the lineage, it's by the master and the master and the master is always keeping mixing up, because as well is personalized.
Yeah, there's definitely everything you're saying definitely resonates with my approach. And one of the things I like to say is martial arts should be more like a science and less like a religion, where there's the one true way and all other ways are false. And one realization that I had when I was beginning to teach is that this whole thing is actually, I guess my perspective of the future of qigong and internal martial arts is similar to what you're expressing. That I would say that it's becoming more open source, but actually it's always been open source. These are universal principles that have always been there as long as humans have existed for anybody to discover. And even if Tai Chi is just one example of a system where there's a lot of emphasis placed on tradition, but this is true in a lot of martial arts. But what is tradition? Literally, it doesn't go back to the beginning of time. It goes back to whoever created it. And so if you like the five main styles of Tai Chi, who are they named after? They're named after the guy that invented it,
Exactly.
And there's Yang style because Yang came along and made his Tai Chi, and what I realized is what your Tai Chi, no matter how much you try to imitate or be an exact duplicate of somebody else, it's always going to be your own Tai Chi. It just is. It's your Tai Chi, and everyone's Tai Chi is uniquely theirs.
Yes, exactly. Yes, when they create, for example, this kind of form of Tai Chi, everyone just put their own on their family, like Tai Chi Chuan and Chen style and Yang style, Fu style, Li style. So they have so many styles, but actually the body of the human people is just one. So it doesn't matter which style you want to follow. It's just a different way to move the body, but the body is one. So we can do almost the same movement, and that's why even they look quite similar, all of them. Still, that of course, every people in one class of 100 people, and they do the same form, everyone will look slightly different because the body of the human are slightly different. One people is taller, one people is slimmer, one people is fatter, one people is a little bit stronger, have this kind of inner power, of strong man and everything. Maybe we have the woman very quiet, very calm and everything. So even the same movement done by two different body, it's look anyway slightly different. So it's of course is personalized. What is important is that, especially for Tai Chi, we have reason and explanation for every single movement that people should do in the form. Because I assist one time to a Tai Chi class from a friend, let's say a friend, and he invited me to see and to give my personal opinion. So my personal opinion was, sorry, absolutely, I don't agree, because when they start to do the form in this class, like maybe 20-25 people, they start to forget the form. So he tell them, oh, it's okay, if you forget the form, you just flow and do whatever you like. So the room, it become a mess of people. They was doing strange movement, everyone going one. Oh, I don't see you anymore. Hello?
Out of the chat. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can see and hear you.
Then, oh, here you are.
Can you hear me? Okay, I'm not sure what happened. So yeah, you were saying that everybody was doing this like free-form movement.
Yes, it looked like a dancing class. So he asked me in the end what I feel. I said to him, no, I'm sorry. I don't really agree. I've been even to, Osho. I'm sure you know.
Osho?
Osho. Yes. So I've been even in the multi-university of Osho in India. And okay, if you want to do a free dance, people can just dance. But I said to him, I'm sorry, Tai Chi is Tai Chi, and the form is the form. And every single movement of Tai Chi have a, let's say, the structure and body mechanic explanation. You are moving the joint, you are moving the tendon, the muscle, the mind is doing all this movement, and you are training. I said, people, they just cannot just flow free and become like a free dance. That's not Tai Chi anymore. So Tai Chi should be done in a kind of way, following follow some rule. That's the way they should be done. So I know that some people, they see in a different perspective, but that's the way they should be.
Yeah, well, my view on it is that it's not the techniques that are primary, but it's the principles. So, like you're saying, if a teacher is teaching that you're supposed to move this way, there should be a reason for that, a basis for that in principles, rather than just this is how we do it because this is our style, or because this is how my teacher taught me and how his teacher taught him. There should be a physical reason, like a basis and principles for how you're moving. And also, I get what you're saying, that if you take somebody who has no training and say, okay, just do free form movement however you feel like, that's not Tai Chi, that's ecstatic dance maybe, or it's
yes, that's something else.
but you're not right. There's without the principles being there, without there being certain principles that we are developing through the movement, then you're not getting what's there to be gotten.
Yes, exactly. The principle, they are made it really for a specific reason. So especially when we talk about Tai Chi and we talk about developing the grounding power, to be able to grounding your body, so union your structure with the ground. You need to rooting yourself, so you need to do some mechanical movement together with the mind control and the energy guide by the mind. Then you can grounding yourself. That's the only way. That's the only way. That's no way that we can do something different. My approach, especially when I teach, especially Tai Chi, it's very different than many other people. One time I was invited in Italy in a kind of wellness fair, and they setting up a different place, different, let's say, stage. So many, like a dojo, they was showing something, and so in one stage, they call this Tai Chi school or something in Italy, local school, and he did the master, he did the form with the people. Then on the other one, they called me, so I did my form, and the audience, all these people, they was looking at me and him, but it was confusing because we act in a very different way. So in the end, the presenter, he went to me and he want to interview me, and he asked me, he said to me, listen, I have really some question about. He said to me, it's very strange because the other guy, he did Tai Chi, like everywhere you can see on YouTube, very flowing, keep flowing. He said, but you, it's a little bit strange because yes, you flow, but you flow in a different way. And I explain, sorry, in the Tai Chi, this is a very important thing. In the Tai Chi, when you move forward, when you move backward, moving backward is yin side, so you relax. But whenever you move forward is yang side and is strong. You must apply force when you move to the front, and you must relax when you move to the back. But what's happened is nowadays, every form, generally speaking, in the world, when you see in YouTube, for example, they are only in yin status, only yin part. When they go back, they are very soft. And when they move forward, they keep very soft and relaxing. This is not the way that yin yang interact between themselves. This is not harmony, this is not balance, this is not the Tao. So the guy, the master of the other place, he went to me and he asked me what I did it. And I said, oh, I did a Tai Chi. He said, oh, I never see I never see a Tai Chi like this. And I explained to him the concept, and he totally agreed with me. And he said, wow, I never think about that, but I learn in that way, and I keep giving in that way. And I said to him, it's okay, don't worry, something is better than nothing anyway. Nobody right, nobody wrong. You are not wrong, but if you think that what I said is sound reasonable, you can start to put a little bit more yang power in your form every time you move forward. And this teaching, they are a great teaching that they come, for example, from Master Mantak Chia when he was young. Because when he was young, he was teaching, let's say, he was very directly in the teaching. He don't care. He was not care about people. He like it or not. His teaching. He just was teaching the way they should be. And nowadays I'm doing the same. I'm not extremely commercial, but the people that they come to train with me, they understand, they feel it, they love it, and they keep following that way because they understand that that's the way they should be. But just because they feel it, when they are with me, they feel it.
So I'm curious about specifically what you mean by yang power. You're saying that in the form that when you're going backwards, there's yin softness. When you're going forward, there's yang power. But how is that type of power different than ordinary strength? Because we distinguish between clumsy strength or ordinary strength and refined strength. So I'm guessing when you're talking about yang power, you're not talking about ordinary muscular tension and exertion, but you're talking about something that's more like refined strength.
Yes, maybe people can misunderstand this one. When we talk about yang power, we talk about grab the form in extreme way. I mean, let's say grab your stance and your movement in extreme way. We don't project anything out of our body. Like, for example, if we focus on punching something or do any kind of performance to broken something, in that case, we focus on bring the energy out of the body into the punch and passing through something that we can broken up. In this way, actually, we what we want to do is we want to send the energy running to the body, but bring more than everything when we do in Tai Chi into the ground. So we want to create a very strong structure by twisting, contracting, and squeezing everything to the limit. That's what we call internal energy work. We call even internal bodybuilding if we want, because in a kind of way you are doing a training, muscular and tendon inside your body without any devices. Even nobody can see you. If you wear something like this, nobody can see how much you are compressive and contracting yourself. That's why. Of course, we smile when we do the practice. So people when they start training with me, and they really go into the training, after they said to me, I never can believe that it's so tough if I don't jump in. Because when people they see from outside, it's it's okay, it's okay, it's a form, and you look like very relaxed. But the inner contraction when you are in the young status, it's a very, very tough thing. But this one, like we said, increase your own energy, because you burn energy, you transform energy, and you generate much more energy. That's the energy increase in your body.
So it looks from the outside like you're very relaxed, but you're generating force inside while you're doing it.
Exactly. Is an inner compression. You really compress yourself inside. Because this is yang, because what you do in the opposite side is relaxing. You're relaxing on the other side.
So you mentioned that you're going to China to teach soon. Where else are you going to be teaching this year?
We actually, I have planning. I mean, we are planning with many organizers actually around the world. India is very interested to do something there, and I think will be interesting to bring this knowledge to India as well. And I was talking Pakistan. That's interesting as well, because this kind of nation, they don't really have this kind of knowledge. And where else? A few more. I don't remember at the moment, but a few more.
Are you teaching in the U.S. and Europe?
In Europe, we was talking in Spain, and in US. Not really at the moment. We will see in the future, but I have already a lot of things to do. I never even planned to arrive even there. Never know the future, what can bring, but.
So you're saying that your teaching schedule isn't fully determined for the rest of this year? As far as your traveling workshops?
We still work on it. At the moment, I still work on it. And because even not only the teacher schedule, but I'm going to create a new wellness center, much more complete and much more complex. So we will have all the spa, we will have all the laser, we will have for the beauty, we will have everything, all the aspect of the wellness, nutrition as well, and everything. So it's a project that I'm working on now, and soon I will be able to open up to the people. Now we're still working on, but this with China anyway. So I still stick a lot with China and Chinese.
So are you saying the new wellness center you're opening is going to be in China?
No, it will be in Thailand, but with Chinese connection. So it will possible that maybe the second one will be open in China as well, but under my direction. So because I'm the one that I'm setting up everything in which way should be. So the teaching, the training, the spa system, and all the other aspect of the wellness, the nutrition as well, and the devices, and let's say even more medical thing.
That all sounds really ambitious. How are you so effective at just getting things done and managing projects and commitments and keeping all of that moving forward?
Well, I have a team, and they help me. And now, she's in my team. She will help me a lot. She bring in my team a lot of knowledge as well, and it's very exciting for me to work with her too. She will do a lot of energy work, and I mean she will help me in the project I can say in a full scale. So the rest of the team, it's happy that she's here with us at the moment.
That's really exciting. I'm especially surprised to hear you saying that the new wellness center is going to be even more complex and complete, because from looking at what you have on your website for the Tao Retreat Center, it looks very complete and complex already. So I imagine a really massive undertaking, and is just going to be an amazing experience for people to have once it's completed.
Yeah, this will be absolutely much more complete and complex. Well, I'm point to create the best, absolutely the best. So I hope that I can make it done, of course, with the team and everything. So let's see if we can make it.
That's awesome.
At this time, the coffee shop starts to be full of people.
I see that Jiha is actually watching us. She just gave us a thumbs up. So
great, much of love to her.
Sure, she's appreciating this
as well.
This I know there's a whole lot more that we could talk about. Just even if it wasn't being broadcast live to the world, there's just I'm having a lot of fun with this, and a lot more I'd like to discuss. But I think we're probably we're close to 2 hours now, and there's a lot here for our viewers and listeners to digest. I think our audience is going to get a lot of value from this already, and I always like to leave more on the table for future discussions. So I'll just mention that I'm really excited and inspired by everything you're doing, and I would love to have the opportunity to get involved and work with you in whatever way might be in the flow of the Tao. But I also want to make sure that that people know how to get connected with your work. So would the best way for people, if they are interested in connecting with you, learning more about you or about your teaching, maybe attending a workshop, should they go to your website?
Yes, they can go to my website. They can email me straight away, or if someone, for example, will like to hosting a workshop in their own place, in their nation, they can email me, and we can plan together how we're gonna make it, and which is the right time, how we're gonna do, and everything. It's always possible.
Okay, so you're open to co-organizing workshops with people in different locations?
Yes, for sure. I mean, if they will like to hosting, I like to travel, I like to share knowledge, so it will be nice to do that for sure.
That's awesome. Well, I've included in the show notes, which is in the comments here, you have 2 websites and 2 Facebook pages. There's Tao-retreat.org and TaoKungFuSystem.com. So anybody who's watching will be able to access those resources and get in touch with you about all of the really awesome and exciting stuff that you're doing.
Thanks a lot. And next time we can do it again. I mean, we can talk for another topic. We have so many topics we can talk about. So
I know
it will be better to do it again.
Good. Yeah, I'll look forward to talking again when the time is right. And I'm really appreciative of your time and your presence here this morning. It's morning for me, and I really appreciate you sharing all of your accumulated wisdom and knowledge, and I look forward to seeing how your projects continue to develop.
Yeah, thank you very much too to hosting me in your program, and thanks for listening me for 2 hours. I hope I don't make you boring enough, and I hope to see you in Thailand as well.
Yeah, I was just going to mention
that as well.
That's Thailand is on my list of possibilities for visiting at some point this year. So if I'm there, then you're definitely on my agenda.
Thank you. Honor to be in your agenda.
Wonderful. Well, it's been a total pleasure, Masa. I'm looking forward to talking again, and very, very grateful. Thanks a bunch. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.